Hey, what's up everybody? It's Mandy from Brick Road Co. and I am back with another video. This time I'm thrilled to show you guys an awesome Q&A. So we're gonna learn a little bit more about Posh and how my journey has gone and give you guys a lot of good helpful tips. Well, I'd like to start with my closet shout out for this week. So for those of you who do not know, my girl, Sarah Styles, LLC, she is a local friend, PFF of mine. She is absolutely amazing and has such a firm grasp on analytical data. If that's your thing, and if you would like to know more about exactly how you sell your products, what your profits are, what you're selling as far as brands and whatnot, check out Sarah's spreadsheet that she has to offer. It is absolutely amazing. So again, thanks so much to my PFF, Sarah Styles, LLC. Here is her closet. And she also has an awesome YouTube channel too, so feel free to check her out on YouTube. She's awesome. So I also want to show you guys my OOTD today. So today's OOTD is a beautiful dress by Band of Gypsies. I got this at Goodwill and it was $4. It has adorable off the shoulder with some ties here, and I love this nice high slit on the side. So it gives it some nice little, to it. I really like this. Also has pockets. I just feel like it's very nice and form-fitting. Today's OOTD is a $4 Band of Gypsies dress from Goodwill. So let's get started with my Posher Q&A. What I wanted to do is come up with what I think are 10 of the most frequently asked questions that I get as a newer full-time posher. So to remind you guys, I have been poshing since about 2015, and I have been a full-time posher for about 10 months or so now after leaving the nonprofit world. I feel like after about 10 months, I kind of have my bearings about me with full-time poshing, and I'm ready to pay it forward, start helping other people with some of the tips and feedback that I feel would be very helpful for you. So let's go ahead and get started, and we have question number 1. So question number 1 is, how do you structure your week? I have 2 different ways that I go about structuring my week. So first and foremost, I have daily tasks. I start my workday most often by checking my Poshmark closet for sales overnight, responding to any offers that might be in my closet, and then offering to likers over the past 12 to 24 hours of likes. I also spend some time in the mornings interacting on my Instagram page, and if I'm not able to post daily, I interact daily, but I do try, and this is a fairly new thing for me actually, so I'm getting my feet wet with Instagram a little more. I block out my other tasks in batches and large chunks. So what that means is I try to spend a portion of each day doing some of the following things. I try to spend one day sourcing for items a week. I try to spend 1 to 2 days a week cleaning, steaming, taking photos, measuring, and comping my items. I try to spend about 1 day a week developing content, recording, and editing a YouTube video. I try to spend my remaining time of the week, depending on how much of that I have, doing a few odd things. So first and foremost, I try to catch up on any posting or cross-posting that I haven't completed as my goals for the week. I also try to spend some time researching trends for the next upcoming seasons. I also spend time watching other reseller videos on YouTube. I do spend some time planning future networking opportunities for myself as well. I do have some of those daily tasks, and then I also have my batch tasks. I just piece those together as I'm able. I typically do my thrifting on the weekend so my husband can come with me, and then sometimes I'll throw some things in during the week as far as thrifting. So that's what my daily and weekly tasks look like. So question number 2, what goes into making a listing on Poshmark? What does that mean, start to finish? I feel like for me, what goes into making a listing can be broken down into 10 steps. Number 1, sourcing. Then we have comping the price. And so a lot of people comp prices on items differently, but I like to use the app Sellhound. It has a lovely search feature and will pull up sold and current prices for most of the apps and markets that are being used for reselling. Number 3, I clean, wash, and fix up the item to be ready for photography. That can include steaming the item, washing and drying. It might include some small repairs that aren't very time consuming. Number 4 is to photograph the items. Number 5 is to measure your items. Number 6 is to provide a descriptive listing. Within your description, you want to make sure that you have the measurements and the condition of the item, and that's going to help stave off questions and save you time in the long run, and also provide more happiness for a customer because they know what they're getting in their product. That's going to reduce the likelihood that you'll have a case open on you as well. Number 7 is assign an inventory number. Number 8 is to edit my cover photo, and stay tuned to a future video and I will be showing you a how-to on how I edit my photos. Number 9 is to actually physically list that item onto Poshmark. So we don't get to actually hitting that list button until step number 9. And number 10 is if you cross-post, which I do, cross-post the item on other sites. Okay, so on to question number 3. What is your favorite thing about the Poshmark app compared to other apps? So when I'm talking to a lot of people, they're very familiar with eBay, and many people have a vague familiarity with some of the other reselling apps that are out there on the market. But when we start talking about Poshmark, and they can see my passion about selling on Poshmark, oftentimes that will be led into a follow-up question. Why do you like the Poshmark app so much compared to other apps? The number one answer that I give is because it's easier to list and ship than any other app I've used. It's less clunky, it has less steps. It just feels like it's really streamlined as far as the listing process goes. It's certainly the fastest app for me to do the listing on. Question number 4 is, how do I make more sales? So I see this question constantly when I'm speaking with newer poshers. It's the question that everyone wants an answer to. How do I make more sales? In addition to the tips that I've already given in my prior videos, I have 5 tips that I think are super helpful to just increase your sales in general. And these are not all inclusive, and there's certainly more tips that I feel are beneficial analytically. However, I think for new resellers just jumping in and wanting to really build those sales and those love notes, work towards the ambassador status, these are your 5 tips. Number 1, first and foremost, take crisp, clear photos with a bright background. Photos are truly worth 1,000 words. They're the first impression your buyer gets of your item, so they're very, very important. And when you start taking photos that are very uniform, it provides a beautiful look to your closet, and people will start to grow accustomed to seeing that and knowing that that is your closet. I was a bit slow in the game to improve my photos, and I think I should have done that earlier. So I just say take good photos from the get-go, be your own worst critic, ask your family members, if it can be improved or if they would purchase that item if they saw it. Tip number 2 for more sales would be to provide detailed descriptions, including the measurements and the condition of the item. So not only will this save you time, but when a buyer is in your closet and they have questions, you may not be available to answer that, and they may be ready to purchase. So by providing measurements and either a photo or a description of your materials and care of the item, in addition to a description of the item as well as the condition in a very bulleted fashion, is a good recommendation as far as increasing your sales. Number 3 would be share. Share your items, share other people's items, share to parties, get in there and share. And the more you're in there sharing, I think, the better it is. But you don't have to be in there all day, every day also. Just be consistent with sharing and return the love as you're able to. Number 4 is be consistent. I can't stress enough the consistency of staying active on the app, listing, sharing, keeping that consistency and routine shows the app that you're active. It shows the algorithm that you're involved, and it, I believe, helps increase those sales. And number 5 would be to list and relist often. So there are many times where my husband and I are chatting and he's like, man, I just really haven't had a sale lately. I'm like, well, when's the last time you listed a new item in your closet? And sometimes it's been a while because we haven't been out to source items for his closet. And so I'll say, well, why don't you relist an item? And then boom, he'll get a sale. So I really do think there is validity to listing and relisting and staying fresh on the app. Okay, so that brings us to question number 5. How do you package your items? So I start by wrapping my items in plastic anti-suffocation bags and then identifying them with a sticker that has a number right on the sticker. I do this immediately following photography, measuring, and listing the item. My cue to myself that this item is completely posted and cross-posted is this item is in a bag and it's on a sticker and it's ready to be put into a bin. So once I sell the item, then I pull it from my clear inventory bins in my garage. I tape a thank you or business card to the clear mailer. I place this clear mailer within either a free USPS priority mailbox or a decorative poly mailer, depending on the item. Then I print my labels using a Rollo label maker, and I stick the label on the package. My husband does not use a Rollo label maker for his sales. He has fewer sales than I do and less volume, so he uses a standard printer and folds the item and tapes it to a USPS box. Oh, a lot of people ask where I get my Rollo label maker and labels, and those I purchased mine on Amazon, but you can get those on Amazon or eBay. Question number 6, do you track your inventory, your sales, and your profits? And if so, how? This is something that I can't stress enough from the get-go. If you're serious about full-time poshing, I would say this is one of the biggest steps to take immediately, and that's to create your own inventory system and your own tracking for profits. I do know that this looks very different for a lot of people. People utilize different tools and spreadsheets. And again, my friend Sarah Stiles has an amazing spreadsheet that's usable that is really good for tracking a lot of data. I also utilize Excel spreadsheets. I created my own spreadsheets to track my fundraising profits, charity donations on eBay, and consignment items, because I do run consignment in my closet, provide a percentage of profits back to the consigner. So I track all of that within my Excel spreadsheet. Okay, next question is, how do you store your inventory anyway? From start to finish, my inventory comes in the door and stops right in the garage. And what we do in the garage is we sort the items out. So we sort by what needs to be washed, what will be steamed, then of course shoes and accessories and purses that have their own different process with leather cleaners and whatnot. So after we separate, clean, and list the inventory, then the inventory gets stored not only in the anti-suffocation bags with the number, but then the inventory number will have a letter at the beginning, and the letter corresponds with the bin that is in my garage. So that way, if I'm out of town and I want a family member to continue shipping my items that have sold, or if I'm not feeling well because I do have health problems, my family can go locate my inventory very, very quickly, and it has prevented lost inventory from happening as well. And if you would like to check out more about my inventory organization, please do take a peek at my prior video that is titled Upgrade and Organize My Posh with me. So question number 8 would be, what supplies would you recommend to a new reseller who is just getting started and maybe doesn't want to spend a lot of money investing in this new endeavor to begin with? So I think that there's just a few essentials, most of which are fairly cheap to pick up. Some are actually free. So number 1, with the Poshmark app specifically, you can utilize the USPS free boxes, poly mailers, and bubble mailers that are available not only in most USPS locations, but also on their website. So I order a large amount of specific sizes of boxes. There's a shoe box, a couple shirt boxes, a Tyvek mailing envelope, and a bubble mailer that I use most frequently. So I would recommend looking into the free supplies, especially if you're just getting started. I would also highly recommend investing in packing tape and a nice packing tape roller, but the nice ones with the handles that you can really get to boxing things very quickly. Number 3 would be measuring tape. So I like the really cheap ones that you can get at the fabric stores. They look like this, and they usually cost about 99 cents. I don't even know how many of these I've burnt through, but we use these quite often, and I think they're a great thing to keep on hand. It's just some type of measuring tape. We have multiple, so we can have multiple family members working and measuring at once. I also recommend utilizing DIY thank you cards that you either create on your own or print out on a very small piece of paper initially, something to the effect of, "Thank you so much for shopping my closet. This item has been thoroughly inspected prior to shipment, and please do reach out to me if you have any concerns about your item." Also, love notes are a wonderful way to show other buyers that you had a great experience. So I'd much appreciate if you did that. And by typing up that custom thank you card and signing my name, it still gives the personal element. By adding the information about the love note, I think I've increased the amount of love notes by, I would say, 3 to 5-fold easily by incorporating that statement. And by printing them off on your own, it saves you a ton of money, because you can put you can put it upwards to 30 small thank you notes on one standard piece of paper. I've now switched over to business cards. However, initially, to save money and get off the ground, this is what I did, and it worked fine. If you're selling on eBay, I would highly recommend picking up a cheap digital scale, and I picked mine up on Amazon. It's rose gold. I love it. It's cute. I would recommend investing in a few lint rollers. Listing requires something as simple as internet access. You can utilize your cell phone, a Mac, a laptop, or a PC to sell on the Poshmark app. So that's really all you need, is just a way to get on the computer. And lastly, I recommend using a white background. So I am using this wall, which is super awesome. Absolutely love having this white wall behind me. Additionally, you could use a sheet. And I think when I first started, my supplies consisted of packing tape, 3 boxes, printed thank you cards, and a white sheet on a wall. And look where we're at. So it definitely can be done with a very bare bones, minimal approach. Why do people have mufflers that loud? I mean, what is the actual necessity of that? Other than to annoy YouTubers when they're trying to film things. So you can simply get by with something as simple as a phone, free USPS boxes, and a white sheet or a white wall. And if you don't have those things, that's fine too. Write a thank you note on a piece of paper. Use a white door. I mean, you can improvise and really get places. And there's a lot of good editing that's out there to help you finesse your items afterwards. So I started with my phone and a white sheet. That was it. I also think as you go along, having a mannequin is very helpful, and those can be picked up on Amazon. So what I did is set a goal. Once I met so many dollars in sales, I was treating myself to a mannequin. Question number 9. I see this a lot on the groups. It's a huge debatable issue. Personally, I don't think this should be debated, but whatever. This is just one that I think across the board should just be done. But I understand that maybe not everyone has the ability to do that. But however, question number 9 is a bit controversial at times, and that is, do you wash or clean your items that you've sourced before you mail them? And for me, the answer is yes, absolutely, 100%. We clean all of our items, period. Like, there's no exceptions to that. So if an item is new with tags, it gets lightly steamed. We have home dry cleaning system that we use for dry clean items. We disinfect and clean all shoes. Every item either gets washed and dried, steamed, or dry cleaned, period, like across the board. Also, every item is impeccably inspected by myself afterwards, after any sales, to make sure that if it's leather, it needs reconditioned or anything like that. I just try to kind of revamp it before I send it on its way to its new home. I also make sure all of our items are lint rolled, and we use a scent-free detergent and scent-free dryer sheets. That way, if there are individuals who are sensitive to smell or have eczema or any type of skin allergies, it's a safe situation for them. And for us, we utilize that anyhow because my daughter does have contact dermatitis that she gets from some of the detergents. So we use all free and clear across the board. Question number 10. What are your top tips for new resellers? I really like to mentor other people, and I've talked to a couple youth who are really interested in starting a Poshmark closet. And not just Poshmark closets, just selling items online and creating their own items. So holler out to the kiddos who are trying to do something about sustainable fashion, who are trying to start their own business. I talked to a gal yesterday, and she just like gave me this whole new sense of like, yes, I love sharing information with people. Knowledge is power, and getting together and sharing your information with others will help them grow. And I am only interested in seeing other people succeed. I want to see all of us do our best at this. So my top tips for people who are just getting started would be connect on all the social media. Ask all the questions, get all the feedback that you can. Now, that being said, I also want to say it's very important that you focus on your individual closet goals, your individual reseller goals, and your individual plans and dreams. It's very valuable to utilize social media groups, and people will be very quick to tell you what they think will sell and what they're not selling in their closet. So take it all with a grain of salt and really analyze your own data along with what people have been providing for you as far as opinions and feedback. However, the value of social media is the networking piece and the support that you get from other resellers, and for me, accountability and feedback. But it's helped me create better content on my Instagram just by interacting with other more well-known resellers on Instagram, and it gives me more motivation to do better. I also feel like it's very important to write down your own individual goals, plans, and dreams, or a SWOT analysis or some type of plan, business plan, what you hope to achieve from this if you are planning on building a business out of this. And then once you've done that, once you've done a SWOT analysis or a business plan of some sort, or at the very minimum have written down what you hope to achieve with this in a small timeline, then just stick to it. Keep listing items, keep sourcing, and don't get down on yourself if you don't see initial sales, because sometimes it just takes perseverance. Also, all of us are in this to do our best and to make money and to succeed. And so try not to spend your time comparing yourself to other well-known resellers that may have been doing this for like 10, 20 years now. Try not to compare yourself to someone else whose package stack is, you know, twice the size of yours. Every single person's journey is entirely individual and it's so different. So don't spend a lot of time comparing. Just use other people as motivation and, you know, pull in their positive energy and their motivating vibes. And then with the rest of it, you know, if you find yourself getting a bit down, take a break from the social media and refocus on what your individual goals are. Pull out that business plan, pull out those dreams, that dream board, and revisit what this is really meaning to you personally. And that can help reframe things when you start to get wandering off in those comparative moments that we all do. Just so you know, we all do that.
I do that.
Also, just take advice again with a grain of salt. So one person's advice, like, you know, for instance, I hear a lot of like, I don't sell blank brand in my closet at all. And then the next person's like, that's my top seller. So you have to bear that in mind when you're receiving advice on what brands to pick up, what people think sell fast for high profits. Highly individual journey. It's going to be based on what you can pick up in the stores for sourcing, what the market is. There's so many variables that it really isn't worthwhile to focus on those comparisons. Why does that look lumpy? So my last piece of advice for new resellers just getting started would be learn to foster your own growth in ways that make you happy, and your growth will come. I promise you that. I think one of the most valuable lessons for me in the past 10 to 12 months has been I stay focused on my own closet, my own grass. I build others up, and I just really work hard and stay focused on those goals. All the sales come to me, things start falling into place. When I'm being really honest with myself and my journey, and I start questioning why my sales have slumped, I can often find that I have deferred from one of my own pieces of advice, whether it's consistency or daily listing, or even just fostering what is making me happy within this journey. So for me, I really enjoy photography. I love helping other people. I love social media, actually. I think it's great if you can buffer out some of the negativity at times. I just totally lost my train of thought. Just lastly, make sure you take care of yourself. Take time for yourself. Take that bubble bath. Go on your walk. Put your phone down. Look at your family members. Remind them how much you love them. Because sometimes, I know myself, I get a bit caught up in the world of reselling. Hours go by and I just lose track. And then that can be kind of stressful and overwhelming. And so I want to make sure everyone is taking care of themselves. If you needed to hear this today, I'm talking to you. Take care of yourself. There's only one you, and the world needs you. And we love you. So just do you, hon. Do it. That scared the shit out of me. My air just kicked on and a door just shut, and I'm like all getting like kind of emotional here, and then the door just slammed, and that scared the freaking shit out of me. Do you, seriously. I'm rooting for you. The Poshmark community is amazing. The reseller community is amazing. So I hope this has been valuable for you, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about me and Poshmark, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. So stay tuned for my next video. If you'd like to have a shout out in my next video, pop on over to my Poshmark page and hop on my Meet the Posher listing and say, hi, I just saw your Q&A. I'd love a shout out. And that's all you have to do. I'm just really trying to connect with more of you on the Poshmark app as well. I want to support people who are taking the time to watch me. Make sure that you're connecting with me. Let me know that you watch my YouTube. I want to support you, and I'd love to share some items from your closet and help you out. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Until next time, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you know when I've had my next videos, and hit that subscribe button down there. Tell your friends. Tell your friends about me. If there's anything you guys want to see in a video, let me know. Comment below. Be happy to hear it. Thanks, everybody. Bye.